the final score, finally, was Wrexham 4, Barrytown United 3, in one of the most hectic, thrilling, balmy games you could ever wish to see. We had to win that game like 4 times. Was quite something, but it's a huge, huge result. The last game before the Christmas break, and as a consequence of it, having been off the pace for the top 4 throughout the campaign, well, we're still 6th, which is essentially where we've been since the second week of the season, but we are now 1 point off the top 4. I know that's complicated by the presence of Britain Ferry and 5th, who are 3 games in hand on us. That's a lot of games to make up in a short period of time. The fact is that this game was huge, and it just brings that top half finish much, much closer to us. We were unchanged from the side that won at Barry in the Adran Trophy quarterfinals the Sunday before, and Barry only made 1 change. So, you sort of look at that, you think, okay, from our point of view, understandable. Lily Jones still wasn't able to play because of the concussion protocols that were in place. It was my mistake in the preview that I thought she would be available after 10 days. That's my mistake. But at the other end, Barrytown United were really outplayed by us, and a bit of a surprise in a way that they didn't look to shake things around more. It does depend on what resources you've got available to you. The first half played out exactly like the whole game last Sunday did. Wrexham dominant, creating chance after chance, more than enough to end the game, but not being able to take them. And must be said, at 1-0 at half time, it didn't really feel like that was going to have too much consequence because Barry had shown very little going forwards. How that would change in a crazy 6-goal second half. But on to the first half first. Wrexham completely dominant. We've really enjoyed 3 very tactical games against Barrytown United. And I apologise, I'm repeating myself a bit, but they defend very solidly. That's their plan. They break really quickly. Their number 10, Ingrid Ordland, not being here for these last 2 games may have been a big advantage for us because they didn't break until the second half of this game, as well as they had done when we met them away in the league, dominated the game but lost 1-0. That was the game where their plan worked beautifully. They soaked up a hell of a lot of pressure. We still made a lot of chances, but they did defend superbly, and they hit us effectively on break and beat us. At Barry last week, they didn't defend terribly well. We made a remarkable amount of chances and should have scored more than 3. In this game, the first half took that same pattern. Despite the most wonderful start, we were ahead in 110 seconds, and it's not just wonderful because it's great to get an early goal. It's wonderful because it was Phoebe Davis who scored it, her first league goal for Wrexham. Only her second ever. The first came at Llanystumdwy earlier this season. And yeah, it was a corner that we'd won. We caused so many problems from set pieces, and Lily Jones has got a great delivery, but in her absence, Mary Gibbard also is a really good option from corners. She put the ball in. Davis actually attacked the ball in and was just flicked away from her. It was just outside the 6-yard box. But Clark got the ball, fed it back in towards the edge of the area. And, for such a ferocious tackler, it feels appropriate that Davis's goal, there wasn't an assist. There was a tackle because she had to win the ball when Clark had played it in, and having won that tackle against Corn, she then drilled it with her left foot underneath the goalkeeper, and Wrexham had the perfect start, and we continued to dominate. Like I said, these have been very tactical games, and in this game we really showed that we'd worked out how to counteract Barry. We pressed hard in their half. Positionally, our shape was excellent when we didn't have the ball. And if we weren't pressing very high up, we were still blocking off the passing channels. Now, Barry played with 5 at the back, and the wing-backs tend to stay deep. And so because of that, I know this is a very basic way to look at football. They've only got 5 players ahead of the ball when they try and play it out from the back, which they tended to. We blocked in the path between the 5 at the back and the players ahead of them. And they really, really struggled to get the ball out of their own half. We were outstanding, I thought, in our organisation and our tenacity and our patience. We just forced them sometimes to move it around to the back until one of them thought, oh, I've got to get rid of this, I've got to try and find someone out of the pitch, and then we had it and we were at them. And it was that pattern, constant pressure, and constantly, it's got to be said, creating passes. Next opportunity comes when Hughes works Cairns in. She plays a nice idea for Ava Suckley, who was making a little run from one channel to another back on the goal side of the centre-backs. Unluckily, just a tiny bit too much angle on it. It was a clever idea from Cairns and Suckley. They both executed it nicely. Just too much on it, though, and Arneson was able to come out a line and reach it ahead of Suckley. Then, as they just refuse to let them out, we win it again in their half. Suckley feeding a ball through the middle. Hughes with a real sight of goal, but drills it too straight. Arneson able to save it. Then it's Suckley on the right-hand side, doing very nicely, feeding it into the near post about 10 yards out. Cairns is being marked, but her first touch takes her away from her marker beautifully, and from a tight angle she drills a powerful shot. Arneson protects her near post well, puts it behind for the corner. Almost immediately we have another opportunity, another save by Arneson. The corner comes in. It comes back out to the edge of the box. Cairns really lets rip with a powerful shot, but it's really well blocked. Comes out to Cara Jones, who, like Cairns, hits a first-time shot. She's a good 30 yards out. She's a heck of a long way out, but she nails it. And Arneson, as it comes through the crowd, has to be really sharp to go down low to her left to save it. The chances just keep coming. Lovely, patient build-up play ends with Suckley and Hughes on the right-hand side, combining really nicely. They've both vacated their central areas, so it's perfect for midfielders to run in. Fuller receives a good pass from Hughes on the edge of the D, keeps the ball moving quickly to the left for Cara Jones, who drills a shot in, but it just pulls it a bit too much and puts it wide of the left-hand post. Half an hour gone, 1-0, only 1 team in it, and yeah, okay, I'm sort of thinking I'm not seeing much threat here. So even though I always get uncomfortable when a Wrexham team is only 1 up, I'm still thinking, yeah, but more goals are coming. First chance Barry have is a half chance, shall we say. It was a nice pass by Corn to put Kira Harris through the middle, one-on-one with the keeper. Brilliant tackle by Phoebe Davis to come in from the side and dispossess her before she had a chance to get a shot off. And then it's Wrexham going back up the other end. Really nice pass by Gibbard. Picks out Ava Suckley and she runs at the edge of the box, hits a shot, but couldn't keep it down. We continue in the same manner. Clark feeding the ball into the box. It's half cleared. A brilliant flick by Rosie Hughes, who backed a goal around just to the right of the D, is fully aware that Liv Fuller is making a run on her blind side. She sees it. It looks like she's just going to try and feed the ball back into midfield to start again. And then suddenly she flicks it behind her and Fuller, it latches onto it, drives it early, and it's another save by Arneson. Then Wrexham again in the last minute of the half. Suckley feeding in Gibbard, and she does well to feed the ball across. Suckley from 25 yards out, drilling in a shot which goes just wide. In the last minute of added time as well, we come close. I mean, goodness me. Cairns this time winning the ball well in midfield and finding Cara Jones. Nice first time pass inside to Hughes. Hughes playing off the front. When she got into those positions between the lines was outstanding, I thought. She helps it again intelligently on to Pritchard, who bursts past the left wing back inside her. Gets in the box and hits a ferocious shot from about 15 yards out, but again a bit too close to Arneson, but it's a fierce hit and it squirts out of Arneson's hands, and she does well to gather before Suckley can come and knock it into an empty net. Don't worry, Ava Suckley will get to knock the ball into an empty net in the second half, but plenty of water will go under the bridge before that happens. So second half, Barry come out, and yeah, I'm still feeling that although 1-0 lead isn't safe, that we are looking so dominant, surely we'll put matters out of reach in the second half. 24 seconds later, it's 1-1. And I've got to say, I mean, the important context for this is that Ellie Priest who has come off the bench in both the games at Barry and scored against us, actually starts against us for once. And, well, I mean, she was threatening in the first half, but with almost no service. She was the outball. In the second half, she just is utterly sensational. And while, to be fair, Barry improve a lot, they go, for me, instead of having Harris up front with the two wide strikers either side, they go into a bit more of their normal shape, perhaps. Well, no, not their normal shape, but it's more having two forwards. Priest tucks in a little bit and a player in behind them. And it works. And they change the shape of the match, the nature of the match, and give us a hell of a shock. But like I said, 24 seconds in, and they are ahead. We will be disappointed with all 3 goals. For different reasons. They all could have been avoidable. This one, Del Morgan taking a goal kick, puts it out to the left flank, but it's intercepted and fed forwards long on the edge of the box. I mean, to be fair, I'm talking about us maybe doing better, but what a beautifully executed goal that says long back to goal. Hits a perfectly weighted volley round the corner to send Priest clear on the right. She puts a lovely cross back in, and Murray is able to finish, and it's 1-1. And it was really, like I say, technically an excellent goal that snatched the opportunity swiftly. Soon afterwards, they could have gone ahead. This would have been a bit of a shock for us. It starts off with an error at the back. Clark feeding the ball square, looking for Allen, but she's not going to find her. And the ball carries quite a long way into the box. This is a pattern which sadly continues a bit in the first half. It drops to Priest, who sets herself and drills a shot, which Morgan can't reach. Had no chance with, did well to get down to it. Hits the right post, bounces back at Priest, who is everywhere, chases the rebound from her own shot, gets to it on the right side of the box and stands across up. It's looking for Long. Again, that ball carries a long way in the box because neither Long nor Remarkably can reach it. And Jenkins, coming up from the back, hits a shot from about 10 yards out. Morgan gets across and gets behind it comfortably. This is a real shock, and when the ball's going in the box, we are reeling. But, like I said, it's a balmy second half, and 2 minutes later we're ahead again. Really good goal as well. Corner again from Gibbard. This time Davis gets up, nods it down. Rosie Hughes can't get to the loose ball, but she puts pressure on it in the 6-yard box and forces a hurried clearance. Fuller, who is up for the corner, intercepts it just inside the box, and it's an excellent finish by her. She realises crowded box, instinctively knows what she needs to do, doesn't try to burst the net, but just hits a well-struck shot just under the bar. Keeper's going to see it late, and it's a lovely finish. Really nice finish by her, and Wrexham are ahead once more, and soon after that we're pushing on further. Gibbard working the ball in. Suckley with a cross winging it into the near post, and Arneson does really well to save with her feet, with Rosie Hughes behind her looking to just tap it into an empty net. The game's starting to feel like the first half again. We push on further. Another neat move sees Cairns pick the ball up from Suckley after a good goal kick by Del Morgan. Cairns feeds it in for Cara Jones, who drives in, and from the edge of the box it's a dipping shot that bounces on top of the bar and goes behind. But just before the hour, we score one of what will turn out to be 2, again, peculiar goals. This one looks like it's sort of put the game to bed. So basically, oh goodness me, put your feet up. This could take a while. The ball stays in the Barry penalty area, mostly in the goalmouth, for 23 seconds. Yeah, just imagine a 23-second goalmouth scramble, and you get a sense of just how hectic and crazed this game became in the second half. Suckley does brilliantly. She gets on the right flank. She's on the goal line. She dribbles down the goal line, which has got so little room to work with before the ball goes out, but executes it, beats the player she's up against, and then chips it deliciously towards the far post. Arneson, full stretch, just gets her fingertips onto it and diverts it on, but Cara Jones keeps it alive. Oh my word, will this ball be kept alive? Works it to Rosie Hughes 6 yards out, but she has to turn to get to it. She tries a cheeky back heel, Now it's Jenkins' turn to throw herself at everything. Jenkins makes a great block underneath her bar. It ricochets back out. Hughes manages to get to the loose ball first and spin 6 yards out and drills another on-target shot in. This time it's Corn who manages to get the block. It ricochets back out. The cross comes back in. Jenkins again manages to get a heroic last gasp header as the ball's dropping into the goal mouth. It comes loose. Fuller hits a shot. Jenkins blocks it again. But this time, at last, I'm exhausted describing it, it falls kindly for Ava Suckley and she taps the ball home with the keeper stranded and Jenkins on the floor. And Wrexham got the 3-1 lead. And you think, okay, we're on top of this now. We have another opportunity soon afterwards with Liv Fuller striking a clean shot from outside the box again, but too straight. And Alison can save. But the problems we've had at the other end, and the way that Barry have just managed to flip themselves around, suddenly they're getting a lot of movement down the left with Freeman, who's been very defensive in the first half. The left side, the centre-back, Harris getting forwards as well. So we make a change. Amber Lightfoot comes on, Ava Suckley comes off, and we switch to a back four. This works, although we get caught out almost straight away. I'm not saying because we've made that change, but Barry are able to strike. So what we've got now is Rebecca Pritchard at right back and Nat Clark and Karen Allen, the centre-backs, Phoebe Davis at left back. Amber Lightfoot, unusually, because she usually likes to cut in from the left, playing on the right side. Cara Jones pushing up more to support Rosie Hughes. But they get a goal. And it's again a pretty unsatisfactory one. Herbert, who's come on at half-time and put a lot of energy into Barry's midfield, chases the ball down the left-hand side. Clark goes to ground to Karen Allen goes to ground to dispossess her, but Herbert manages to come out with the ball and whips in across. Del Morgan comes for it but can't take it cleanly, and Long is able to put the ball into the net, and Barry are back into it at 3-2. Wrexham continue to push on. Lightfoot is immediately having an impact on the right-hand side. She is pinning the wing-back back, and she is beating her and getting into really good positions. She feeds a nice little ball into the box for Hughes, who pulls it back perfectly, and on the run, Cairns nails the shot from just outside the 6-yard box, hits the underside of the bar, and bounces back out again. Then again, Lightfoot involved. After Rosie Hughes did really well on the right-hand side, she breaks away. No one's kept up with her. She holds on to it really well with defenders around her and then scoops the ball perfectly to Lightfoot, who's making the run inside. She whips the ball into the box. It goes across goal to the far post. The full wing-back Gunny, lunging towards her own goal desperately, makes a really strong contact about 3-4 yards out. Sending it straight towards goal, and it's an absolutely jaw-dropping save by Arneson. I mean, maybe literally jaw-dropping, because it's hard to tell with the one angle. I think she may have saved it with her face. Doesn't matter what you save it with when the ball is speeding at your goal from 3 yards out and you're scampering across goal. If you get anything on it, it's outstanding. It was saved from the absolute top draw. Within a minute later, another crazy exchange of attacks. Firstly, it's Cairns winning the ball again in midfield, finding Hughes. She quickly feeds it in to Lightfoot, who cuts in nicely, and then in the 6-yard box looks to drive it across the face of goal. Corn gets a block and goes to ground. The ball's driven back in again by Lightfoot and hits Corn's hand in the box. Big shout for handball. I think the ref got it right not to give it. Corn is on the floor, back to the ball. Her hand's on the ground and it appears to hit the arm that she's leaning on. And I don't think that would be right to give a penalty for that. And then immediately, of course, barrier straight up the other end, Long on the right-hand side, receiving a great pass from midfield by Turner, sweeping a terrific ball in. Priest is barrelling through the middle. Morgan makes her mind up early, and that's what saves Wrexham. She arrives a fraction later than Priest, but she's right in her face and is able to block the shot with her body. At the other end then, Cairns feeding the ball down a left channel. Cara Jones bursting inside once more and looking really threatening, but getting underneath a shot and putting it over. And then With 12 minutes left, well, an exchange of attacks which threatens to turn everything upside down. First, it's Wrexham, with Pritchard bursting down the right-hand side, feeding it into Fuller, who's broken into the right channel, and she does really well to turn, but then gets too much on her shot as she tries a difficult, but for her not impossible shot, just trying to hit it as it drops over the keeper across goal, but she gets too much on it and it goes out. Barry restart quickly and equalise. The ball in midfield, long again with a nice pass, finding Harris running towards the penalty area in the right channel. She feeds it inside. Wrexham's defence look a bit undermanned. Pritchard makes a huge interception. She does really well to stop the ball coming through. But Freeman picks the ball up on the left-hand side, feeds it straight back into that area. And Priest is there once more. She receives the ball centrally without a sight of goal, cuts to her right, and then pivots and hits a powerful shot that goes across Morgan and into the far corner. She's got 2 assists and a goal now, Priest, and it's 3-3. Goodness me. I mean, it's a real shock to the system. A game that we made so many chances in, and we got to go and try and win it all over again within a minute, because to be fair, I'd say both sides respond well to conceding goals. I mean, Barry's spirit in the second half is magnificent. But we go close. Cairns driving forward through the middle of the pitch, working it wide. Cara Jones sweeping a terrific cross in. It looked as if it was arriving just too high for Rosie Hughes, but it wasn't. She leaps brilliantly, gets a powerful header on it 8 yards out, and it slaps against the bar and comes back out again. Then at the other end, Barry, probably pushing for the winner. Corner comes in, we're deep into the last 10 minutes now. Corn gets up and meets it with her header, but from 10 yards out she can't direct it properly, it just rides a bit too high, and she puts it wide at the left post. 6 minutes left now, and again Barry threatened. A good ball down the left, brilliant defensive work by Amber Lightfoot as Turner looks to get round the back of the defence. A superb full stretch tackle puts it behind for the corner. I mean, it was one of those tackles, if it's not perfect, it's a penalty. She had to fully commit herself, and she wins it brilliantly. Wrexham shift it around again with Katie Sharp coming on for Mary Gibbard, and that allows Nat Clark to step into midfield. And again, Barry put pressure on, but it's us who then get up the other end and get the winner in the 89th minute. Pritchard does really well to win the ball, feeds it forwards. Lightfoot is breaking down the right, feeds it inside to Hughes. It's a chance. She and Fuller are central in the box. Defenders hurling themselves at them. Hughes can't find the angle for the shot. She squares it for Fuller to hit it. Just overhits it. Just about the only time Hughes did overhit a pass like that. Fuller has to retrieve it rather than shoot. Gets it back to Hughes. Again, Hughes is looking for that angle. Can't quite find it. Again, it's another of these ball in the box for ages situations, but she's composed. She sees the defender is going to block her. She plays a great little ball across to Fuller, and Fuller finishes perfectly from about 8 yards out, left side of the box, side foots it across the keeper and inside the far post. An absolutely brilliant goal, her second goal of the game. She goes to be outright top scorer for us now. What a good player she is. You know, she comes in, starts off at centre back with us, to step into midfield and ends this game really playing off Rosie Hughes, looking for a winner, and her finishing, wow, real quality. Barry wants offside. It isn't offside. I must admit, at the time I thought it was, or might have been, when Hughes played that final pass in for Fuller. But when you look at the replay, there's a Barry defender on the other side of the box from Fuller who is much deeper than the other defenders, and she's played her on. They have a stronger case, although they don't try to make it, for the first goal being disallowed. No, beg your pardon, the second goal being disallowed, because at one point we have a player behind Arneson who doesn't play the ball but has fallen on the floor trying to get on the end of one of the crosses, and Arneson, backpedaling, can't get back properly because that player is behind her and in an offside position. So, but they didn't ask for that, funnily enough, and the linesman didn't spot it either. Added time, 4 is shown, but there's a long stoppage for treatment to Jenkins after that goal by Fuller. So we end up playing 8. And at the very end of that, we have one more chance to score. We managed that time pretty well, to be fair. I mean, I have this one opportunity, Cairns and Hughes breaking through the middle. Cairns plays the 1-2 with Hughes and then rolls Hughes in on the right when she drives it in. Fuller just peeking to it 6 yards out. An acceptable cross in those circumstances, because it was one of those that there's no way that Barry are going to get possession safely. It was worth a go. And we hold on for the win. Goodness me, you would have got an astonished look at the least from me if you told me after 45 minutes that we'd be hanging on for this one. It looked like it was going to be an avalanche. Huge credit to Barry, not just for that little change around, not just for the performance of Ellie Priest, which was terrific. Although, to be fair, not the only one in the second half to massively distinguish herself. I thought that their midfield did really well. Long, very hard working. Shin Murray getting a lot higher up the pitch. Jenkins was hurling herself forwards as well. Turner's a good player in midfield. Harris was dragging people out of shape. Fair play, they posed questions for us. But just as we got our game plan spot on in the first half, I thought we did as well once we reacted. The 4-4, the 4 at the back, should I say, it's more 4-3-3, I beg your pardon. It took a little time to settle, if I'm honest. But once it did, having Lightfoot and Pritchard on the same wing really caused issues for Barry and opened them up quite a lot. And then even that very late change with Gibbard coming off and Clark coming on had the effect of Clark being able to sit in midfield and Fuller being released to get up closer to Hughes. And, well, she got the winning goal. So, yeah, it's an interesting conundrum, I think, for the coaching staff, because Fuller, by inclination, is a very good defensive player and a very good passer of the ball from deep. But quite frankly, she's also extremely effective in the box. She's very calm when she's taking a shot on. Where do you put her? It's great to have that problem, isn't it? But wherever you put her has got to be, carefully thought through, because she will play anywhere in the spine of the team and dominate. Looking at the performances then. It's Del Morgan's first league start of the season, and she'll be a little disappointed, I think, with a couple of the goals and the way they came about. But having said that, she also made a couple of sharp saves as well and set up some opportunities with a quick goal kick that she took that was accurate and got us going. The back three, well, Nat Clark again, really influential. Her use of the ball, especially in the first half, I thought she was moving the ball around very, very nicely indeed, and defended stoutly enough. Second half, they started to get at that side of the pitch, and sometimes I think she had maybe a little bit too much to handle because our shape got stretched a bit, and it became more tricky for her because she was getting overloaded on that side of the pitch. Allen in the centre was strong once more. Not much defending she had to do in the first half, to be honest with you. Made some key tackles in the second half. Phoebe Davis did really well, I thought. Got the goal. Made that fantastic tackle to save a goal as well in the first half. And, despite the fact that Priest was looking to use her pace to burst past her, I thought handled her pretty well when she was on that flank. It was in the second half when Priest was dropping a little deeper and more central and arriving in the box maybe a bit at better times, not in Davis's zone, that she caused problems. Huge compliments to Pritchard, who did very well on the right-hand side, and especially when she then dropped back into right back. Not a position she's unused to, but certainly not a position she'd probably want to have as her first choice. But she played really well in combination with Lightfoot. She burst forwards from deep well in that second half as well, and she won some key tackles too. Really strong all-round performance by her. Cara Jones on the left-hand side. Frustrating for her that the goals don't seem to be quite going in as they did last season, but she was a menace. Hit the bar, hit a couple of other good strikes around the edge of the box. Nice link-up play as well, and enjoys cutting in from that position on the left-hand side, getting high at the pitch and just causing problems. In midfield, well, I thought Gibbard was... Well, the three midfielders were all outstanding for me. Gibbard was just winning everything. First half, the ground that she covered, and in the second half, fighting for everything. But the number of smart interceptions she made, I'd love to see the data, because the number of turnovers that she forced and interceptions that she made, I think, was sky high. Really impressive. Brooke Cairns again, quality in midfield. I mean, as I mentioned when describing things, she won a couple of key tackles to start moves. She's consistently at the creative point of move, feeding the forward pass that turns an attack into a chance, and was really unlucky to hit the bar herself. And then Liv Fuller. There's a few player of the match contenders, but you have to go for the person whose second goal of the match is a Roy of the Rovers style 89th minute winner, don't you? Really? Especially with the quality she's got. She was dominating the first half with her passing, but then once she gets into that shooting range, she's very consistent in hitting shots that are going to be difficult for the keeper. And she hit a couple of good ones in the first half, then the second half, those two excellent finishes. I mean, brilliant, absolutely brilliant stuff from Fuller. Player of the match. Up front, again, Ava Suckley, tremendous hard work. She was taking on defenders. She was a threat on goal, as always, looking to get shots off early. And then Rosie Hughes alongside her. Well, again, like I said when I was describing the match, it's just unbelievable. It's like someone's put a plate of glass up in front of the goal when she tries to score. It just goes anything but go in. The poor thing, especially the last two games against Barry, she could have absolutely filled her boots. But she gets denied by the woodwork, by great defending, last-ditch, desperate blocks, great saves. She could have done better with some. She'd be the first to admit that. Oh, and also last week, a goal disallowed for offside, which wasn't offside. Something's going on here. But her approach play, her build-up play was absolutely superb. She brought players in so well. Her movement was dragging defenders out of the way. Shame she hasn't been able to get at least one goal against Barry in these games to reward the fact that she's put in two tremendous all-round attacking performances against them. As for the subs that we brought on, well, again, Lightfoot made a huge impact. She was so dangerous breaking down the right-hand side. She and Hughes combined beautifully. Hughes is looking for her movements, and when she went wide, Lightfoot would spot it, would drive down the channel inside her and receive. There was good end product from Lightfoot. She put so many dangerous balls into the box. Really, really strong performance, and covered back with Pritchard and did some important work because, you know, I mean, surely the first priority when she comes on is can she pin the left wing back and stop Jenkins coming to support her, which she does. But she also, when she has to, drops off and puts in a good shift defensively. The other sub who came on, Katie Sharp, didn't have that long really to do anything. We were pushing on for the win then, but she played her part in defending our penalty area through that long period of added time. So, phew, I think this is the longest podcast of the season. And I'm not surprised. That was maybe the game of the season. Frankly, it was remarkable. And like I said, hats off to Barry, who did ever so well. And I mean, say ever so well, showed terrific heart. And it was the sort of game that a neutral would love, but an analyst or coach would hate, because a lot of the goals were preventable. But goodness me, I mean, you got value for money if you went down to the Rock last Sunday. Get down there. These are cracking games. With a final score of Wrexham 4, Barrytown United 3, I'm Mark Griffiths from Wrexham AFC.